Focus. 90% of startups fail. Yet we obsess over the 10% that succeed, as if they've cracked a secret code. But here's the question, why does your brain erase thousands of failures and zoom in on the one shiny success story? The answer, a hidden bias that shapes almost every decision you make. You're watching Fruity Wisdom, where we cut through illusions and expose the hidden truths behind big ideas. Subscribe now, because today's idea could save you from years of chasing the wrong dream. This mental trap has a name, survivorship bias. It's the reason we copy the winners, while completely forgetting the losers. But ask yourself, do we ever study the startups that died? The books that never sold? The athletes who trained just as hard, but never made it? The answer is no. We remember the survivors, the lucky few, the shiny stories. Here's the contrast. Success screams, failure whispers. It's like reading a cookbook written only by chefs who never burned a meal, or a fitness magazine filled only with centenarians, swearing their secret was bacon for breakfast. Survivorship bias isn't just a glitch. It's a gravity that pulls us toward illusions and away from truth. Let me give you a story. A small startup in San Francisco thought they cracked the code. They copied Apple, the sleek design, the clean white packaging, the minimalist vibe. Their logic? If Apple did it, we can too. But 3 years later, they were bankrupt. Not because they were dumb, not because they didn't work hard, but because Apple's success wasn't just packaging. It was timing. It was marketing muscle. It was global supply chains and brand trust built over decades. All the invisible factors you never see in the highlight reel. That's survivorship bias in action. Let's zoom out. Business first. We celebrate Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Oprah. But here's the bigger picture. Every year, 600,000 new businesses start in the US. Most don't survive 5 years. For every legend we worship, thousands vanish without a headline. Now music. Spotify has over 11 million artists. Guess how many make more than 50 grand a year? Just 0.2%. We love the Billie Eilish story. Bedroom recordings to global fame. But for every Billie, there are thousands uploading songs that never get heard. Books? Same story. 96% of books sell fewer than 1,000 copies. We tell the J.K. Rowling story, 12 rejections before Harry Potter exploded. But most writers who get rejected 12 times never see a bookstore shelf. Sports. Michael Jordan said, "I failed over and over, and that's why I succeed." Inspiring, right? But what about the thousands of athletes who trained just as hard and never made the big leagues? Here's the pattern. Success is loud, failure is silent, and survivorship bias makes us forget the silence. Here's the dangerous part. Survivorship bias makes success look inevitable, predictable, even deserved. You start believing, if they did it, I can too. Maybe you can, but thousands followed the same steps and still failed. During World War II, engineers studied returning fighter planes to see where they were hit. They almost reinforced the wrong spots, until one man asked, "What about the planes that never came back?" The missing data revealed the truth. And the same is true with success stories. The missing voices tell the story we ignore. So, how do you beat survivorship bias in your own life? Start by studying failures, not just the glossy success stories. Read startup postmortems, look at flop albums, and even browse abandoned YouTube channels. They teach lessons the winners never reveal. Next, test small before you go all in. Success stories love to make it sound like you should bet everything on one big idea, but in reality, risk management is your real safety net. And finally, don't put all your trust in one role model. Instead, pull inspiration from different industries, different people, and different approaches, so you start spotting patterns that actually hold up. If you want to dive deeper, there are 3 books I can't recommend enough. The first is Fooled by Randomness by Nassim Taleb. It shows how much of what we call success is actually just luck, and it'll completely change the way you look at winners. Then there's The Black Swan, also by Taleb, which explains why the rare, unpredictable events, the ones no one sees coming, are the ones that actually shape history. And finally, Thinking, Fast and Slow by Kahneman. This one breaks down how your brain makes decisions, and why we all fall into traps like survivorship bias without even realizing it. Put these three together, and you'll never look at success stories the same way again. The shiny success stories? They inspire. But the failures? That's where the truth lives. So next time you chase a dream, don't just ask, what did they do right? Ask, what happened to everyone who failed? Drop a failure story in the comments. I'll pick a few and break them down in a future video. And remember, you're watching Fruity Wisdom, where we cut through noise so you can think smarter.